Hello friends, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to again look into time intelligence. I did a series on time intelligence. There is a playlist. I will put the link of that playlist in my video description, where I did 7 different videos explaining time intelligence functions. In this video, we're going to look into how we can create our own custom relative date filtering. It could be a relative month, relative year, or relative week, quarter, you name it. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how relative date filtering or relative filtering on the date column works by default out of the box, and how we can improve on that, and what are the challenges with the out of the box relative filtering. So let's take a look at that first and then see how we can improve and we can write our own custom relative filtering. Let's get to Power BI and look at the report and the relative filtering. Let's get to Power BI. So here I have a very simple data set. What I have here is showing sales by month and date. So basically by month. And then I have in this matrix visual, I have the country on the columns and the sales, which is some sales. Again, nothing special. Now let's say the question we have is I want the sales for last 12 months. Always want to show the last 12 months. When it says the last 12 months, it is the relevant to as of today. When we say as of today, like today, it is a 26th of March when I'm recording this video. So it means that what I want is including today, this month, plus go back 11 more months. So today plus go back 11 months. So that's the relative filtering. So let's see how does this work out of the box, or what the relative filtering out of the box allow us to do that. So let's go look at the filter. And I'm gonna remove this. So in this case, I have a month and date. It's a date column, and let's say I want it to be so there's a different kind of filterings. Of course, the relative date filter only show up when the column you're using is a relative date, or sorry, a date type. So I pick the relative date. Now we have a few options here. Is in the last, in this, or is in the next. And this include today option is only available when we are using a days, weeks, and actually it is only available when we have days and weeks. But as soon as we go calendar weeks, months, calendar months, then this option is not there anymore. So first of all, months and calendar months, again, I don't want to go too deep details into these ones. So if I go months, and if I say last 6 months, so if you look at this, I'm not going to see the result here. So this is like 27th of March. It takes the UTC. Even on my computer it's the 26th of March. So it take the UTC and the 27th of March, the date, and then because it's including today, and then go back a 6 month. If I exclude include today and apply filter, and the range is 26, so it goes back to the 1 day. So that's what out of the box. But let's say this is like within when we have a month, so it takes today or including today or today, and based on that it selects how far back it wants to go. But let's say if we always want to see the full months, full last 6 months. So if I go, that is what the option is, calendar month. So as calendar years, that means the full year, full month. So if I go to calendar months and apply filter, so what does this do is it takes 28th of February. Why it is taking 28th of February? Because we are in March right now. It takes the complete month. So 28th of February is already passed. So it took the 28th February and went back 6 months, because this is what I said in the last 6 months. So that's why it is giving. If we look at the data here, I don't have a sales in February, and so what we are getting is January, December, November, 20, so 5 months, because we don't have a sales in February, and that's why we don't see the February. Now this is out of the box behavior, and let's go to years. If we have a calendar years, what we get is it does not include 2022. The current year does not get included, and we have no way or no option to include current calendar year, or in case of calendar months. So the what option we have is always it goes back to the complete year in this particular case. So the 2021 is completed, and then it went back 6 years. So 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2020, and 2021. That becomes 6 years. So this is what is giving. Now the question comes is like, if we want to include, we want the relative date filtering always include today and go back 6 months or 7 months or whatever the use case is, how we do that. And this is where this video I'm going to talk about how we can create our own relative filtering, date filtering. We can apply that logic on years, month, quarter, week, dates, you name it, whatever the granularity you want, you can apply that logic. So let's see what we're going to how we can make it happen. So again, I'm going back on calendar years. So I'm going to calendar month and go last 6 months. So now it is showing me, it does not include we don't have a February data, that's why we're not seeing the February, but it is not including March. So the first thing what we want to do is we want the current month to be included when I say go back last 6 months. So regardless of the data we have or not, but it should include March, February, and the previous 4 months. So that is like last 6 months if we wanted to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add another column in our calendar dimension, because that's what drive the whole our time intelligence is all based on calendar dimension. So I call that column as in a month offset or months from today. Usually I use or month offset. So what does that take? What does that means is what we're going to do is we're going to take current month as a 0. So make that as an anchor, that 0 means always current month based on today's date, and then anything what is past is in negative, anything is in the future from current month will be in the positive. So that's what we want to do. So to do that, it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to use the date difference functions. So we take today as our because today, that's from relative is all about based on today, and then we calendar date. And now here we have the options, what the interval is going to be. So what options we have day, hour, minute, month, quarter, second, week, year. So tons of options. So in this particular case, we're going to say month. So now once we do that month offset, if we look at this data now on maybe in a different visual here. So if I bring a month and date, the one which I'm using in the visual, and also month offset, the one which we just created the column. So what you will see is our 0 will be is March 22 is 0, and then anything prior to March is negative, anything in the future is positive. So now we always know when we are in April. April will become 0, so that will become an anchor, that's a 0, and anything March will become -1 and -2 and so forth, so on. So similarly, we can have the year offset, week offset, quarter offset. So how does this make a difference in our visualization? So let's say in this particular visual right now, I'm using the relative date filtering out of the box. So it does not include March because we are in the March month. It only includes the completed 6 months from February to and go back to the 6 month. And we are not seeing February data because we don't have a sales in February in my data set. So instead of using the internal date filtering, what I will use is I will use my month offset. So what does that means is what I will say here is if is less than equal to 0. So because I want 0 is always my current month, and greater than equal to -5. Why -5? Because 0 and -5, that will make it 6 months. So if I now apply the filter, what we are seeing is January, December, November, October. Why we are seeing only 4 months? Because there's no sales in February and March, unfortunately, and that's why I'm not seeing those 2 months here. If I had a sale in March and February, I would have seen those 2 months as well. So now this is more, it will always include current month, and I can have my month offset logic whatever the way I want it, whatever makes sense for my business. I can use that logic and create my own offset calculation, and based on that I can filter my visuals. Now here is what I want to show. the advantage of creating your own custom month offset. So this month offset um, variable with what we or the column what we created right now is based on today. I can use it instead of using today. I can use the last transaction date and create that last transaction date as my zero, as my relative date, because let's say we don't have a sales in Feb, or my data did not get updated until end of the month, or whatever the use case is. So I can create my own relative month offset. So let's try to do that. What we're going to do here is let's create month offset based on sales date. Okay, to create our own month offset date based on the last sales date, what we need to do is we need to find out first the last sale date, and then based on that we calculate the month offset. So what we're going to do is let's add another column in our calendar table. The first thing what we're going to do is let's call it month offset based on sales date. And first we need to find out the maximum sale date. We can simply do that most recent sale date is equal to calculate max in our calendar date and filter by the sales table. So that's our, so what does this mean is, because calendar table has a relationship with the sales table, and what we're doing is we're filtering our calendar table based on the sales table, and that is what the maximum will give us the maximum sales date. Now once we have the maximum date, what we can use the same thing, date difference. So most recent sale date, and then calendar date, and then month. Again, let's test these, the previous month offset column and the new one which we just created. So I'm again going to put a month offset and month offset date in my in a visual here, in a matrix visual, and let's bring the month and date as well. So if you look at this, what we will see here is, if we go scroll all the way down to where the zero is, which is in 2022. So as you can see, by default, based on the today's date, the month offset is March 22 is the zero, and then anything prior to that is -1. But whereas based on the transaction date, because the last transaction sales is on in January, so the month offset starts from zero and then negative, and in the past is negative and the future is the positive. Now I have a more real-time month offset date. What I can do is previously I filtered this visual or page, or I can write my own measure where I can use month offset date. I can now, instead of using month offset, let's remove that, and I will use month offset based on end date, based on sales date. And now I go here is basic filtering. What I'm going to do, no, sorry, basics, advanced filtering. What I'm going to do is again less than equal to zero. So zero means current month. If I want to exclude zero, current month, I can say less than, then I will use less than, right? So -1 is the previous month. So less than or equal to zero, and greater than equal to -5, because I want 6 month. So -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0, this becomes 6 months, and apply filter. So here you go. What you see in the visualization here is, now we have January, like we will always have the 6 months. So depending, we have the last 6 months data. So now it starts from January, December, November, October, September, August. So we have a 6 month. Previously, it was only showing us 4 months, because it was with the default relative date, we only get to see 5 months, which was a January till September, because February there's no sale, it does not show the February sale. When we created the month offset, custom offset for relative filtering using the today's, then we were only seeing the 4 months data. The reason behind that is March there's no sales, we couldn't, there was no row for that. February there's no sales with no row for that, and then only 4 month it does show up. So it only showed up to October, but this is now more real time, because depending again on the business need, if we want based on the last transaction date, so this relative date filtering will always show last 6 months data based on the most recent sales date. If there is a sales happen in the future, let's say the sales happen in March or April, or whenever we go in the future, this will always switch based on that, because we are calculating the offset. If let's say, if there is no sales in next 3 months, we will still keep on seeing this last 6 months, because the last transaction date is still in January. um, so this becomes very, very powerful. I use this offset for the relative filtering quite often, and it's very, very common. I use it for the week. You can similarly calculate the week offset, quarter offset, year offset, date offset, and then you can go back as much as you want. And you want to go last 365 days based on the last transaction date, or 365 days based on today's date, or last 12 years or 10 years based on including current year. And whatever the business logic is, you have the low more flexibility depending on how you calculate the offset, and then you can use that offset column to filter your visuals. Or you can also use this in the measures as well. In next video on the time intelligence, we will look into something similar, how we can set the default date or month as the by default in the KPI card visual, or the user pick up another month, and then that becomes what we see in the card visual. Again, I hope you learned few things out of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do subscribe my channel. Until next video, thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Bye for now. Thank you.